Everybody here free, but they can tell where you come from. They know you not from here by the way you walk. And many of us, people know we not where they know you ain't supposed to be where you supposed to be, not because you ain't supposed to be there, but the way you carry yourself. God has blessed you to be there, and you still second guessing yourself. You still questioning, God, He said you here.
This week, our show is brought to you by our partner in crime, Organifi. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement line that makes quality, trusted nutrition convenient and accessible. Their most popular product, Green Juice, can supercharge your life, restore that glow, and help you feel decades younger in just 30 seconds per day without having to worry about shopping for ingredients, mixing and blending them, and then cleaning up afterwards. All ingredients are USDA organic, vegan-friendly, and made without GMO ingredients, gluten, or soy. Where else can you get superfoods like chlorella, moringa, spirulina, wheatgrass, ashwagandha, and turmeric, just to name a few? So make sure you guys check it out at www.organifi.com/success. That's ORGANIFI.com/success.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian Sensation. What up? What's going on? Mr. Carl Wesley. Hey, man, we missed you, dog. We missed you for a week. It felt like a month.
Oh, hey, if y'all gonna replace me with Inky though, I'm not gonna be mad.
Once a year, Inky Johnson comes in and
hey, Carl. Last year the Super Bowl, it was either me or Martin Luther King. We both did the Rams commercial, and they chose Martin Luther King. So I was like, yo, if I'm gonna be replaced with somebody, I'm good on that.
Yeah. Let it be Dr. King.
Let it be Dr. King.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So shout out to Inky for coming through, man. The episode last week was crazy. But I also want to acknowledge some special guests we got in the building. Those of you watching on YouTube can see them. They back there. Say what's up, make some noise. We got live studio audience. First time. Hey, first time. This is great, man. This is our BU fam, and also our 1% volunteers. For anybody who came out to the 1% conference, you probably recognize some of these faces signing you in, helping you sit where you're supposed to sit, and just being a blessing to us. So shout out to y'all for being here. Number one, they were in town for the weekend. He was cooking eggs, and we had a really good time. Again, yeah, exactly. Sausages and all kind of sausage head Sam. What is it called?
Sausage head.
You take up sausage head Sam.
Yeah, exactly. So no, man, we back, man, and I'm just feeling good, man. So we're coming up on that time of year where you want to be thankful and give thanks, right?
Absolutely.
And so those of you who know me know I got a 3-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old. And, we talk about it on the podcast and we joke, but my kid's coming up pretty affluent.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Very
a lot more affluent.
Yes.
And I get uncomfortable with it. Like I just do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just being real. Like some of the comments, some of the things they do, like I'm just like, whoa, you're not even geeked up. Like the other day we was getting ready to go out to eat or something. And Trey and Avery was like, oh, we don't want to go out to eat. We want to go home. I'm like, man, I remember when going out to eat was like, wow. We going out to eat. It was like Denny's, and you was like, man. And my kids, they just so spoiled. So the other day, me and Trey I promise you, I don't know what was going on, but it was like late. And me and Trey was sitting on the couch, and Trey's a cuddler. So he like cuddled up against you, the whole nine. And so he was like kind of going to sleep, getting sleepy, right? And he was like, hey, Dad, you think we could start working on my Christmas list? And I was like, oh, okay. And now those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a long time know I've been trying to teach empathy.
Yeah.
So
Shout
last
out to the
year,
disc.
So last year I told him, I said, hey, I want him to understand. I said, listen, there's some kids out here that don't get toys.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to let you know you blessed. And he was like, Dad, I already know that. And I was like, really? How you know that? He was like, because they're bad. Duh, Santa ain't gonna bring them no presents.
Wow.
And so I was like, dang. I was like, okay, a little too early. You know what I'm saying? I'm a year too early. I'll try next year. So I was like, man, it's just me and him. Avery and Candace was upstairs, me and him on the couch. He's like, man, let's start working on our Christmas list. So I'm like, man, all right, cool. I was like, this seemed, he's a little bit more, we just won the baseball championship.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got the trophy.
Yeah, he got the
MVP.
trophy. We won the regular season and playoffs.
MVP.
Yeah, exactly. So we're the champs now. And, he seems to be understanding the world a little bit more. So I'm like, maybe this is the year.
This is the year.
So I was like, yeah, buddy. I said, we could work on your Christmas list. And he goes, okay, Dad, I like that. I said, all right, cool. I said, but what about this year, if we, give your toys away, to the less fortunate kids.
Less fortunate.
And I said, it's kids out there who don't have any toys. So, maybe we could take your toys and give them to those kids. And he looks at me, he goes, all of them? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, then I'll be one of those kids.
Makes sense. I'm about to be unfortunate. If I give all my kids away,
it only makes sense.
It only makes sense.
I said, oh, man,
Yeah, it only makes sense,
early.
bro. I don't know if it's too early. He's
My
just
man
smart.
said, my man
See, like he a
was
high C.
My man said all of them. He said
he,
all of them.
He calculated that, yeah.
Bruh, he said, I'm talking about real calm, though. He paused for about 15 seconds like, well, then I'll be one of those kids. To which point, somebody had to give me some toys, so why don't we just skip the middle?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So anyway, man.
Trey. I get you, Trey.
We still early. We still early. So any parents out there, if you got tips on empathy and getting your kids to the next level, please help me out. He's only 5, so we're still working on it. But, man, I just had to die laughing because I'm like, man, here I am trying to have a moment.
Yeah, he told the truth, though,
I'm
bro.
like, Trey, you are the farthest thing from, not being spoiled, bro. So anyway, I want to talk about I'm sorry, Carl. You got anything, bro?
I want to get to it. We can talk about all that later. I want to get to it.
Man, so just a few moments in life where you realize you got friends that's balling. E rented out the whole theater last night. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to explain that to my mama. She was like, how do you rent out a movie theater? Like, do you have to buy every ticket? I was like, I don't know, Mom. We ain't there yet.
We just showing up.
Yeah. We're going to get a couple. We can get like an extra bucket of popcorn. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not to the renting out the whole theater yet. But E rented out the theater. And we went to see Harriet. Now, I was nervous because it started at 8:40 and my bedtime's 8:41.
Yeah.
So I was like, shoot, this could be a long night.
Yeah.
But, I did want to go and I did want to see the movie. Obviously, that's somebody who, I've obviously studied. But, there's always, different points and things to bring up. I mean, I think we all know the story of Harriet Tubman, so I don't think it's no spoiler alert.
Right.
Spoiler alert, she a boss.
Don't tell what happened.
She freed a whole bunch of folks. But man, I took so many notes and I went through my phone and he just delivered a whole hour and 90-minute keynote
presentation
to our squad here. But man, it was so rich just to watch that movie and just to watch the thing. So E, I guess you could talk about, first of all, how do you rent out a whole theater? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. That's Tiffany. Tiffany did. Tiffany out there had to bring Tiffany in here. I don't know. I just showed up. I do know you need a credit card though. I do know that part. I don't know exactly how, but shout out to the ballers who have baller friends.
Yeah.
Because Nikki bought
everybody food. Everybody food in the whole theater.
Wow.
I wish shout her out for that. Come on. Shout her out for that.
I didn't know,
some of y'all ate some of it.
I didn't know Nikki did it, or else I would have ordered way more food. All I got was water. I'm tripping.
What would you got? What would you have gotten had you known?
But I know I'm doing well in life because I did get to the point where I get a bottled water now. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they used to be like, oh, okay. There's like $3.50. I was like, give me a cup with some ice and the tap water. I'm good. I don't need all that. But I am to the point where I could just go ahead and, what I'm saying? So shout out to Nikki who's over here. Y'all can't see her off camera, but she's here.
She's taking the picture. So.
But no, so let's get to it, man. In all seriousness, I got so many notes from it. But you talk about why it was important to you, not only to go see the movie, but to buy it out for everybody, and then us to go see it as a group. And then you could kind of just, begin the takeaways, and I'll come in on mine. Carl saw it.
Yeah, no question. So I think for me, it was important to go with the squad. I don't know which episode this was, but I go back to, Carl's point of, you know, I come back from wherever I come back from, Australia, wherever I would go, you know what I'm saying? I come back like geek, like, yo.
Big epiphanies.
I'm talking about, I'm going to a different country. I'm seeing stuff I never seen before, third world stuff. Like, I'm crying, I'm emotional, my empathy going up. And I come back like, yo, Carl, we got to change the world. And, you know, we got to do this and that. And he was like, yo, I ain't trying to be funny, but I didn't go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't get the experience. Like, I want to do what you say do, but like, I didn't get to go. I didn't touch the people. I wasn't on the plane. You know, I didn't get to see what you saw. You know, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So I started thinking to myself, okay, how do you create that experience for people, and how do you do it? The best way to create it is for them to be in that experience with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could give somebody, like, you ever, you know, like maybe heard a sermon or something, and you try to tell somebody, it's like you can't even explain what you heard. It's like you trying to tell them, it's like you can't sit there and do the whole hour. So on this trip, I see us as, however you want to say it, the Harriet Tubmans of our generation. Like, I see us as a group where we're not trying to be free on our own. It's not like we trying to ball out, we trying to be successful, and we trying to do it on our own and act like can't nobody else do it. We're actually trying to help others. So I was like, you know what? We need to take the squad, because if the squad sees it, then I don't have to explain it. They're going to get the same thing. And it was so funny. I was literally watching a part of it for Candace. Like, it was a couple pieces on there. I was like, oh, I know Candace watching this one. I hope she getting this. And then I said something to CJ about it this morning. He was like, yeah, me and Candace this morning for worship, we talked about. And I was like, oh,
exact same piece.
That exact same thing. And so it was easier to do than go, okay, Candace, because a lot of people, and maybe even the studio audience, y'all don't know that Candace was before CJ. Candace was before Carl. You know what I'm saying? So Candace was rocking with me as a freshman, right? And Candace, I always knew Candace was like, she had that potential, and like we were doing stuff together. You know, I picked the president that didn't really turn out to be that sweet. And Candace was like, I'm the president. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this.
I'm a D now.
I'm a D now. You know what I'm saying? So Candace started running stuff, and then they came aboard. And it was funny because as C elevated, it's weird now that I think about it, but when C took his spot, Candace really started backing off a little bit from that type of work and really started to develop herself as a human. She started really working on herself as a woman, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm always like, me and C both like, all right, Candace, you kind of going further away from this boy. Like, we gonna need you to come on back. And yesterday, the movie, I felt like the movie spoke to her without even knowing. I know Candace, so I know there were scenes where she had to feel that boy, and I was like, yep, she's watching it. She's been doing some stuff for the company that's very needed, and I'm like, yep, little by little, she's coming back home. So for me, see, I just felt like it's very difficult to explain the ethos of something, the spirit of something by talking. But we was all in the movies, and I felt like, yo, we ain't got to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? It was the first time I liked it. Like, yo, I ain't got to be quiet. I got to turn my phone off. And we literally started talking throughout the movie and started saying stuff to each other, like on different points to drive that sucker home. So, man, it felt good. Hopefully, we can. Most of y'all don't know, but we could probably create a theater like that in CJ's home, and then we could do it in Atlanta next time.
It's tough to do in a
one Tiffany's home. I don't know if y'all see Tiff.
I have not.
Tiff under the radar with her career.
Okay.
She under the radar, but I'm sure she got a 35-seat theater in that joker too.
Carl.
Man, so my word is disrupting society.
That's right.
Just disrupting society. Like, everything that they knew at the time, you know what I'm saying, was cool. To E's point, like, that's how I see us. Like, yo, we disrupting it. Like, we left our jobs, not on no, we bigger than nothing, but we just gonna disrupt society because, and this conversation Tamisha and I had, like, yo, the way society is set up right now, it's not set up for us to win.
That's it.
I'm just calling it what it is. It is not set up for us to win. So for me, it's like, yo, we in that place where we gotta be, and I'm talking about leaving that movie. It's like, okay, we gotta like hit play now. Like, before it was cool, it was fun, but we gotta be intentional about disrupting it because if it keeps going,
you're gonna be out.
I don't know where
you're gonna be out. Your family gonna be out.
That's 100%. 100%. So that's one. And two, the second one for me, and E, I know you'll get to it. I'm going to just say it and leave it because I know you're going to come back to it. It takes resources. I'm going to just leave it there. I'm sure we're going to come back to that. See, we'll come back.
Let me ask y'all a question, and y'all think about this too. I was thinking about this last night, right? Do you think she hated slavery more or loved freedom more?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, I found myself asking that question, right? Because I'm like, whew. So for me, just as an individual, like, I hate losing more than I love winning. Right? That's just me. Like when I play football, when I play ball, I promise y'all, when we won the game, I felt a sense of relief. I was like, whew, all right, cool, we won. I wasn't like doing backflips and like, yo, let's party, I felt a sense of relief when we won. It was just kind of like, all right, cool, that's what we're supposed to do, right? But when we lost, I'm a grown man and ain't played ball in forever. And I remember a couple losses where I'm like, yo, that stung. Like, we should have won that. And so in my mind, as I'm watching her last night, and the conviction, man, the conviction you gotta have in order to do what she did, and the way she spoke about slavery, it's like, she wasn't even really geeked up about the freedom part like that. Like, she was, every time they went to a new scene, I'm like, what's she doing back there? She was just like outside of the crib. Like,
right outside the crib.
I'm like, yo, go do some free stuff for a minute.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
Come on, give me that. What does that mean? Go do some free stuff.
I'm saying,
for real. Stay on that.
Go enjoy. Like, go. I'm talking about go to whatever the movies were.
Right, whatever the movies were.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hang out with your friends.
Whatever they was doing in Philly.
Whatever. We got Philly people.
What were they doing?
Flying. Go look at the Liberty Bell, something.
Yeah.
Right. And so. But she wasn't even interested in that.
That's crazy.
She hated the institution and the idea of slavery enough to put everything on the line. And so, I always talk about the inverse, right? Like, so if this is true, then this must also be true. And when you look at her, like, she hated slavery so much, and it had nothing to do with like the finer things in life, right?
Absolutely.
Like, we hated being cooped up in that office so much. And I'm not trying to at all draw a parallel. Please don't kill me for that. But I'm just saying, in life, you gotta have something not only that you want, like, oh, I want a Bentley, I want this, I want that. Sometimes that can only push you so far. But sometimes the thing that you actually hate, the thing that you cannot stand, like, we could not stand going into an office and somebody telling us when we could take a lunch break. We could not stand knowing that Jada had an award ceremony and somebody gonna tell us we can't go. That taste was so bitter and so disgusting in our mouth, it made us make a change. And so again, I'm not trying to draw a parallel. I'm just asking you to make it practical for 2019, 2020. What do you hate enough to stay away from? What would you put your life on the line to not live like this or to not do that? And I think Harriet, when she got to freedom, she was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Right.
But I'm actually not, this ain't even that deep. Like, what's deep is being able to take it from here to here. And so she went back and got those people, man, not because she was like, oh, y'all just got to experience freedom. She was just like, yo, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, notice they never had one scene where she was like, and this is freedom. And guess what you get to do? You can go to the library. Oh, guess what? You can go. You see that restaurant right there? Go eat right there.
Never said that.
Or order your food and just tell them how you want it. And watch. Like, she never even was on that. They never talked about that. And if you go throughout history and you read her, the literature about her and stuff, they never spoke about that free side. It was like, yo, she hated it that much. So
this is where I get, man, like, bro, when I watched the movie yesterday, it was like, yo, like, I'm an X-Men, fan, been since I was a kid. And it's like when the X-Men see another mutant, it's just like, ooh, you a mutant too? Like, I didn't know, I didn't know we existed.
It's more of us.
Bro, when I watched the movie yesterday, the thing that really, I had freedom and liberty is I hated all my life people calling me a rebel. I'm like, yo, you acting like I'm fighting right. I'm not fighting right. I'm fighting wrong. like, what, am I supposed to just, like, settle for this? Like, just because the majority is doing it, even though it is killing me and my people, what am I just supposed to be like, all right, I guess since ain't nobody else gonna say nothing about it, we should just chill and accept this. And that's what I liked about Harriet. Harriet was like, look, this ain't right. Like, I'm not speaking out or trying to do what I'm doing because the slave master took care of it. Like, it wasn't even no fair boy. Harriet was like, yo, look, you in writing, you told my mama that when she hit this age. So guess what we did? Come on, what's the word I'm looking for? You got to give me the word. The opposite of rebel is
compliance.
So we complied. Like, we did exactly what you told us to do. We worked for you for free. You had my mother, my father, my sister, whatever. And then you took my sisters and sold my sisters. So what, I'm supposed to wait in line I'm supposed to wait in line for that. And so I used to hate when people used to try to make it like you doing something wrong. No, you doing something wrong, and I'm standing up to wrong. Now I gotta be looking like I'm doing something I ain't supposed to be doing. No, we work for you. Like, my man had his papers, and he just took his papers and just shredded. You know what he had to go through to get that? And listen to me, this on everything I love. They weren't even on the level where they were saying, we want our papers so that we can leave and we can create our own. And they were still working for them. My man was just like, I just want to be married. You got your wife up there, your son up there, your daughter. All we want, you got a grown man got to go to another grown man and ask if he could be married. And my man was like, look, you will all, and this is like the spirit that I hate, and I never talked about this, but the spirit I hate is another man think he has the right to own you. And I have never, with my influence and power, ever tried to lord over somebody or take some from somebody. I've always tried to be the guy to say, I'm going to use my influence and my power to be a blessing. And for another man to say, I owe you, you gotta do this and that. I felt Harriet like, yo, Harriet, thank you. It's somebody out there that feels as I feel. You want to call me a rebel, call me one. But what I am is I will fight injustice. And if it's wrong, I'm not going to keep my mouth closed. I'm not going to not say nothing. Why? Because I'm feisty, so you ain't about to control me anyway. My feistiness is not for me. Like, that's what you're not getting. Like, I'm not even being feisty for me. You're not going to hold me down, period. But I'm not going to let you hold down the people that I love, who have more respect for you than you have for yourself, because they are being slaves for you. Like, they doing what you told them to do. They're everything. And when you watch that doggone movie, it was people who did what they were supposed to do, and they just said, call me by my name, and I'm talking about whipped, scars, and it's like, yo, if the person on the other end don't have the respect to treat me like a human, I'm not gonna sit there and shut up. I'm not gonna comply, because you are not right, and I'm gonna say something about it. And that's what I loved about Harriet. It wasn't about her. All of those expeditions back and forth that had nothing to do with her. That was, I'm gonna free my sister, I'm gonna free my mother, and it was the spirit of, I'm not free until everybody's free. And man, I can't wait till we get to that as a people. That like, we ain't none of us free until we all free. Ain't none of us, like, we have not gotten there until all of us get there. That's the spirit that I saw last night in Harriet. I'm like, let's go, Harriet. I was hoping I could talk to her through the movie. Like, Harriet, I got a couple questions, boo. Can you answer these questions for me? Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. And thus, Carl, now it makes sense why I wrote the book. You ain't the boss of me. Not that I'm trying to boss you. You ain't the boss of me. Let me be me, and let me do me, and let me pursue happiness like you trying to pursue happiness.
So, yeah, no, that's great. And I want to, again, I just got some stuff, and I think we can break this down practically for our listeners.
No question.
There was another part in the movie where the former slave owner, right, came back and said something about, like, you've been my slave, and she was like, watch your mouth, I'm not your slave, right? And I was like, man, that was powerful, in terms of the language, right? And even when you look at the language of how we talk about slavery, now versus back then, when you say they were slaves, well, they actually weren't slaves.
They were enslaved.
They were enslaved, right? And so language is important.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I think this was yesterday, I had to get after my mom. Because again, we so middle, like I love my family. We so middle class, like we just got middle class vocabulary. And you just start saying stuff that don't even make sense. Like, so my mom was like, I've been trying to get my mom to retire from her job for about 10 years. And she won't do it. I'm like, Ma, whatever, I'll pay it, whatever we got to do, because I need more help down in Atlanta. I'm like, y'all need to be down here watching these kids. We going to London, we going Toronto, out the country, Hawaii. I'm like, Ma, you got to be down here, watch the kids, or at least be able to come on the trip with us and watch the kids, whatever. And so she was like, well, I can get some weekends off. I'm like, Ma, I'm not trying to fly y'all down every other week. Like, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wasn't saying it like that, but I'm like, yo, it's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay $1,000 for you and Dad to fly back and forth every week. I'm not doing that.
Dad ready to go right now.
Right, for sure. But anyway, so my mom was like, so then Candace walked in on the conversation or whatever, and she was like, oh yeah, Candace in too. Like, you need to quit, Ma, like whatever. And so then Mom was like, well, I told CJ we could come down every other weekend, but he said it would be a financial hardship. I said, what? I said, never have I ever said those words.
Right.
You know, but it's so crazy. Like in my mom's mind, that's how she interpreted it. Like, because that's how we came up. We came up in scarcity. And so you start using words like lack, we don't have, we can't afford, financial hardship, struggle. And you start saying these things. And I promise you, I don't know what it is, but it like gets in your spirit.
Yeah.
Like I told my mom, do not talk like around those words around me.
Yeah.
Because you start to put it on me. I'm saying financial hardship. I haven't even heard my name in financial hardship in the same sentence since like college when I was eating peanut butter and jellies.
Right.
So I'm like, don't put that spirit on me.
Yeah.
And don't put it on our family anymore.
Yeah.
And she didn't mean anything by it. But I'm telling you, it's just a middle class vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's just some things you say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the term furlough, extended, like it's just it's just things you hear. I got my dad used to have his little off times. It's like overtime. You know what I'm saying? Like you start using words that are so synonymous, and I believe
with being enslaved.
Well, I'm saying, but here's the thing: you start living up to those things that you worried about. You know what I'm saying? And so when Harriet said, "Yo, like, don't call me that," like she just walked with the swagger, like, "Dog, I'm not anybody's slave," and you couldn't even tell that she had been a slave.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't even walk around like with like any like nostalgia of slaves.
But you know what was crazy though? His was crazy. And please, y'all listening, you got to help yourself. Like I really want you to think about what CJ's saying. Like don't listen to this as entertainment. Because there are those of us who will listen to C and go, you know what? I'm not enslaved. You'll say that. But you will try to hold on to the little money you got and not spend it and go enjoy it or invest it. I need you to hear what I'm saying. Like, you'll do all of that, but still live like you in the middle class, or you could be in middle class and still living like you in poverty because that's how you grew up, right? Like, I'm just being real. Didi get on me all the time. Like, Didi like, look, okay, let's just use Josh. Josh will be like, yo, E, why are you walking to CVS to pay $1.50 for some water when the water is $3 in the hotel room?
$5.
I'm like, it's $5, Josh. It's a dollar.
I'm talking about Josh cracking them jokers like they free.
But it's because he got a different mindset. He's saying, E, you got to get dressed. You got to leave the hotel room. You got to walk a mile. By the time you walked a mile and got the water for $1.50, in terms of energy and all of that, you just wasted for real. It's like the person that's driving on the other side of town to pay 2 cents less for gas. It's like, but you just drove 20 miles and paid 2 cents. You drove that gas out. And I want y'all to listen to me. Please listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to read, to go to professional development, to listen to this podcast and still live the exact way you've been living. Like to still have the same mindset. It doesn't make sense. So here's the one thing though that Harriet blew my mind with. I was like, ooh, I see you, boo. I see you and I got to do better. Even though she never believed that she was a slave and she never accepted it, ever. My man told her when you was a child, I knew you was, it reminds, when he said it, I thought of little Avery. I'm like, yep, that's Avery. Like I saw it. He like looked at her and was like, what he was saying was, you were the only one out of all of them that didn't let us break you. You're the only one that didn't let us break you. And that's what attracted him to her is that, yo, we didn't let you break. But as powerful as she was in her mind, her behavior was still that with somebody that was enslaved. Because when she got to Philly, my man had to tell her, like, she already had been freed. You got to hear me. She had already been free. That's why she was freed. Because in her mind, she was free, so they couldn't hold her as a slave because nothing about her was a slave. Even as a child, she had always been free. But she had never learned how to live like somebody free. So she had the mindset, but not the lifestyle. And I challenge those of you who have the mindset to embrace the lifestyle. What do I mean by that? I'm moving to California for the lifestyle. I've been who I've been forever, but even I was like, yo, I got to live in a 2,300 square foot home. I don't. I always been on that. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I want people to see that I haven't. People gonna know you ain't changed by who you are, not your lifestyle. Like you having an Escort or Escalade, that don't make you who you are. And so I had to embrace, I told Didi, sit. Look, me and Didi talked. I was just like, look, sweetheart, I love you. Go somewhere and sit down. Like, for real, not this one. And Didi came to me and was like, you know what? You know, you are absolutely right. I know I'm a high D, but you need to take this one. And I was like, yeah, I do. And why did you say that? She's like, because I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I did with the last 2 houses. I'm going to let you dream for us, but then I'm going to minimize the dream. I'm going to say 1-car garage. Like, don't spend that kind of money on the fixtures. Like, don't get that kind of couch, get this couch. And she says, if you leave it up to me, we're going to have $1 million home with dollar accessories. So you just do it this time. Just do everything. And I said, when I move into that joker, I'm getting everything that she wants. I told her, don't worry about cost, whatever. Why? Because I saw Harriet. She was in Philly and she was free, but she was still walking around. My man said, oh. Your mind is free, but that outfit, y'all remember what he said? He said, you walking around here like that, they gonna know where you come from. Look at your hair is disheveled. Look at your gear is disheveled. Like, pull it together. Like, get this apple, eat this apple, and you need to walk like, look, everybody here free, but they can tell where you come from. They know you not from here by the way you walk. And many of us, people know we not they know you ain't supposed to be where you supposed to be, not because you ain't supposed to be there, but the way you carry yourself. God has blessed you to be there, and you still second guessing yourself. You still questioning, God, he said, you here. Okay, I'm here, but am I gonna go back? And CJ knows. I never forget when we finally blew up. I never forget Didi asked the question. Didi not broke me, but she broke me. Like not
she
broke me, but broke me. And we had finally made it. And I went to her, was like, yo, D, we made it. We made it. We're on the road now. Everything we said we was gonna do, we doing it. I'm making the money, everything. And Didi was like, instead of Didi saying immediately praise God, she was like, how long you think this gonna last? Right, and I'm being real. It was at that moment that I told Didi, like, don't talk to me like that ever again. Please don't say that. It will last as long as God wants it to last. Come out of the fear. I have not given you the spirit. It's like we finally made it. We finally got to where we said we always wanted to be. And now the question is, how long? Let's not worry about how long. Let's enjoy that we made it. We here. And so I just want to say to those of us.
Oh, you're going to skip past the part where you was a little nervous.
I said it. I just said it.
Oh, no, you said
I just said she broke me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what happened?
Oh, that part. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is the important part.
I blocked that part out. My bad.
You know what? It's funny, I didn't, but as an I was thinking about it, but my mouth went so fast, I forgot to say something about it.
I told D, just relax, I got us. I'll put us on the back.
No, he's telling the truth. I actually called C and was like, hey, C, Didi said, how long this gonna last? And then C was like, yo, E. C was like, yo, E, not only is it gonna last forever, but we just getting started.
Yeah, and think about it, and this is good, and all of y'all, think about like this, right? We were probably only getting $5,000 for a speech at this time.
Yeah.
And Didi asking at $5,000, how long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not long, because we're gonna be at $10,000 real quickly, right? So think about that in terms of growth and progression, right? It's one of those things that we don't really spend a whole lot of time on in terms of talking about how you get from point A to point B. But that fear, I'm telling you, everybody, write down like 5 words that's in your vocabulary, your family's vocabulary, like some stuff you just need to get rid of, some stuff that just freak you out. Like I told you, I don't think that we are sensitive enough to what we put in our spirit, in our body. And I'm telling you, I'm more in tune with it as I get older. I told you, like, bro, I'm telling you, I walk in somebody's house and they got the news on. I'm like, please turn the channel. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, could what you ate tonight kill you? Next on the news, a 5-year-old got kidnapped. After that, somebody got shot. It's like, yo, you putting foolishness into your system, and I'm telling you, it's wearing on you. It's wearing on you. The language you use. You know what I'm saying? You talking about bills every single day, and you make bills a God. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of putting your gift first, instead of waking up showing gratitude for what you got, putting your mindset towards how you can make more, how you could be, use your gift even more. You wake up in fear. And that's the thing I want to move into on the discussion next. She went for her orders from the pastor. And what was the first thing he said to her? She was like, okay, help me. And she thought it was about to be something like monumental. My man was about to be like, boom, bust a left, bust a right. The most important advice that he gave her was what?
Don't fear.
Fear is your enemy.
Fear is your enemy.
Enemy.
Fear is your enemy. And I'm like, dog, people wake up again. Like, and nothing against, I'm using my family for an example. So insurance bucket, whatever. But like my mom, like for real, I ain't even talked about it on the podcast. Candace's last day at GE was January 31st. I haven't bring it up a lot because I don't, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Y'all know me. I get private sometimes and whatever. And I'm sure, hopefully, we'll get her on here to talk about this. But I remember even when as much, we done been around the world, made millions of dollars, doing very well for ourselves. Candace was making 6 figures at GE. She was doing very well. When I told my mom, I finally convinced her, right? This has been a 2-year battle trying to get her to, just because it was too much. It's too much stress. She couldn't travel. The kids, it was just too much. And she was ready to be done. So finally she's done. I'm telling you.
When 6 figures is too much, I love it.
And I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling right.
No, I'm saying it's real.
It's real.
No, I'm just saying it's real. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when I told my mom, like she almost had me stressed. She was like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of money." And don't her insurance, and don't she have a 401k? And don't y'all? I'm like, yo, you about to? I'm like, we good, and you about to stress me out just off how you talking. Like you starting to make me paranoid about it. And some of y'all, you spend your whole life around people who make you paranoid about making moves.
Ooh.
Dog, Harriet was at the doggone edge of the river, and they was like, "You crazy."
Yeah.
The baby about to drown, you about to drown. What'd he say? He said, I'd rather go back and live like a slave than die like a rat in this water. And she was like, oh, okay, cool.
Do you?
Some of y'all, that's y'all. And y'all got right to the edge of the banks and was like, you right. Boom. And you went back. Harriet was like, I'm good. Let's go.
Bro, not even the, I hate to say it because it's negative, but not even the bank of the river. Homegirl said, everybody can't run like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Her sister, she didn't free everybody and their mama. She's so sweet with it. She coming to the crib. Like you ain't got to meet her up the block. She at the crib like right out the door. Like, come on, look.
She got guns. She got all kinds of network.
I just want people
now.
to see. Just look at freedom.
With nothing at the freedom.
I'm saying, look at freedom, though.
Yeah.
Look at what freedom lets you do. Freedom lets you walk up to your enemy and say, "What? What? You ain't got nothing on me. What? Come on." She right. Look, bro. She right next. They told her if we catch you, they pull you apart, put tar, and she at the door. She should have just knocked on the doggone door. She went into the house with the boys and tied them up. She went in back in the house. Like what? Like you can't catch me if you wanted to catch me. What fear does is it stops you completely. And people don't get it. Like you talk all that fear actually sabotages the stuff that you are afraid of. You actually created by being fearful. It ain't even the devil. I'm about to whip every Christian. I'm about to whip these Christians' butt coming in here talking about the devil. The devil is you. Like you should put your name on the devil. You the devil. The devil is you. But you keep saying the devil because it makes it easier on you. You're the one that feared this would happen, and because you feared it would happen, you attracted what you feared. Yeah. That's what you did. You kept saying they don't like me. Okay, they don't. Because you said they don't like me, and then when you came in the room, you had that thing on you that they didn't like you. Then you stood back there because they didn't like you, and you ain't say nothing to you, so they don't like you because they don't know you because you didn't say nothing to them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Like if you would have walked in the room and said hi, they would have said hi back. But you went, they don't like me. You have no evidence that they don't like you. But the stuff in your brain told you they don't like you. They don't want me. They don't value me. And they don't, because you said it. Harriet went to the door like, come on up out here real quick. And here's the part that had me dying laughing. She wasn't even hugging her up the street. She was hugging her right outside. Homegirl was like, Rachel, where are you? They right outside. Like, don't worry about where Rachel is. I'm talking to Rachel right now. Hugging, kissing Rachel, and Rachel was paralyzed. Rachel saw freedom and she saw her reality. She saw her freedom because she knew her sister was sure enough bona fide. And she saw her reality. And instead of embracing it, she had an excuse. And she said, I love when they do me like this. You a unicorn. Don't you want to make me one? Because then you feel satisfied about not doing what you're supposed to do. Like for real, when you go just spiritual, you could be too. Like you trying to make me something that I'm not. I'm an I. And then we got some serious issues. But I've decided to walk on the side of fear, the side of faith and not fear. And she said it. That's the biggest part of the movie to me. She said, because I hear people tell me this all the time when I try to say to them what God told them. She said, she put it on her. She put it on her. And the minute you put it on somebody else and you take it off you lost. She said, everybody can't run like you. And the crazy part about it was, Harriet wasn't even asking her to run like she did. She ran on her own. Harriet was about to help her. You wouldn't even have to do it like Harriet did. Harriet was about to take 50% of the work off of you. You know what I'm saying? By the time Harriet got to you, she had a whole full-blown system. She had support, she had help, and you weren't willing to do the 50%. You weren't willing to do the 50%. Harriet had to do the 100%. She had to do everything by herself, learn everything on her own. And she just told you, I'm about to make you a millionaire. I'm about to show you how to take your life to the next level, and all you got to do is this. And homegirl said that 50% was too much for her. Why? Because fear will tell you if it's 99% you can, fear will have you look at that 1% and let that 1% consume you instead of looking at that 99% and going in faith.
And the movie can't, again, we talk about a 2-hour movie. I want people to stop for a second and really think about walking 100 miles. Like, let's stop for a second and really think about what she went through. We watching a movie and you see dogs chasing her for 30 seconds and she ran over here and jumped in the wagon, and you think that she did 100 miles at first, and then when they went north to Canada, how many miles?
500.
I think it said 600 miles. Like, I want y'all to stop and think about what she went through. Like, let's not play with this. Like, this wasn't something that she was just hopping on a train going back. Hey, y'all, come on, jump on, we free. No. They was hitchhiking in the bush north, and as the movie depicted it, it wasn't summer.
Oh, it's not summer.
Let me just say it like that. It wasn't summer.
It's not summer a lot in the north.
I want y'all to think about sleeping outside. No, I'm just not trying to be funny. Sleeping outside in that temperature, because I don't know if they slept. I don't know if you could sleep for real. So 600 miles. How long do it take to drive 600 miles?
He said it took months. The journey took months without food.
And she is that. I'm talking about that, like, resolved in her mind that I'm going back.
Yeah,
like,
but I got to believe this, though, Carl. I got to believe, and I want all my listeners to hear this, I got to believe that the first 100 is the hardest.
Yeah.
I got to believe that the first 100 is the hardest. And the reason why most people don't have faith is because they haven't gone to 100. You haven't gone to 100. I got to believe that when you went to 100, when somebody tell you to go 5, you like, that's just 4 more hundreds. You feel me? That's just 4 more hundreds. And they break it down like, okay, we did this, so in order to do this, and I'm telling you, I promise you, if you're listening to us, the faith, man, and the experience, because I think they were afraid, Carl, and she said it. Y'all been free. Y'all don't know what it feel like to be a slave. If you knew what it felt like, you wouldn't be standing here talking. We would be going and do what we need to do. So I think what happens, we have to be careful, even when you rocking with people that don't understand you. You rocking with people that don't understand you, they can't possibly help you to do and get to where you want to be. And I think for her, because she did it on her own, do not minimize doing it on your own. She did it on, I used to be pissed. Boog used to piss me off. My man used to be like on this, I want to do it on my own. I'm like, what? Bruh, what does that mean? That don't even make sense. I get it now, though, see? I get it, because he's saying, Dad, you gotta let me go through it and struggle. Like, you can't be there and help me every time. Like, you gotta let me go through it, because if I can get through it and get on the other side, Carl, I promise you, bro, off the record, but I showed C, we did
you can't say off the record on a podcast that's heard by 50,000 people.
I'm hoping everybody ain't listening to this. He ain't listening. Carl,
off
I told C
between
today.
the three of us.
Right, between the three of us. Well, I'm used to it being the three of us. It always seems like it's the three of us, right? I told C today, we doing this with this group. I showed him online after the funnel with the extreme execution coaches. Jalen's online with a group of coaches coaching them. And I was telling C, and I told Nikki too, I said, you know what's so funny? I remember when Jay first started doing it, and he would be like, Dad, shut up. I'm like, Jay, let me get in. I just want to help you. He's like, Dad, stop. Like, Dad, why don't you just get off the phone?
Let me get this.
And I remember he was just going through it. I'm like, Bug, but you messed up. But Bug, you didn't say it like this. Bug, you should have done this. And I remember doing all of that. And now when we finally got it, Carl, where it's not one-on-one, but now it's 5 to 10 people on the line, I listened to him today, and it was flawless. But to his point, you gotta let me struggle, Dad. You gotta let me mess up. You gotta let me do it on my own, because if you do it for me, I don't have any evidence that I can really do it. And C says it all the time. Most of you don't have confidence because you haven't done it. You only have confidence on the stuff that you've done. Oh. And that's why most people lack faith and are fearful, because the stuff you talking about, you've never really done it before. And so you selling me something, a product that you haven't even used yourself. But once you believe in it, you speak with an authority that you can't speak with if you hadn't gone through it.
Yeah, So real quick, because I want to make sure that we're not running through this too fast, right? So both of y'all right now, just throw out some things or some terms or whatever
I got it.
that create fear.
Yep, wealth.
All right? No, that create fear.
Wealth.
The lack of?
Wealth.
No, wealth.
Wealth creates fear.
Wealth created fear for me.
Okay.
When I would hear the word, not wealth and success.
Okay.
Anything that had anything to do with like graduating from college.
Okay.
It didn't take me 12 years because I was dumb. I was scared to graduate.
Right.
I was scared of the success that was on the other side of graduation.
Yep, so that created
Yep.
fear. What else?
My potential.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
What
weird.
about it though? Talk
Right. No, I got you.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it so again, having kids is something crazy. Like I'm watching my son.
Mm-hmm.
He got the report. We talked about reports. This boy reading on a 3rd grade level. And I'm scared because I see myself in him. And I'm like, dude, what if I don't fulfill my potential? How many people behind me
Who watching you?
who are watching me not gonna fulfill that? And I'm seeing it in my son, like, yo, if I don't make the right decisions now, I don't want him going through this. I want him at 10 years
Okay,
old,
but
like
y'all too
crazy.
far ahead though.
No, I got you. I'm gonna ask Carl a question.
You
I
the
got it.
feeling
Yeah.
that gave you the fear of you not reaching your potential in the first place.
Say it one more time.
I'm saying, let's go back because you're saying the fear of not reaching my potential. Cool, I got you. I'm saying, what gave you that spirit? How did you get, why is that even in
I
your
can
mind?
tell you what mine was.
No, I'm saying, why is that?
Yeah.
Why are you even thinking that way? Is what I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And think about it for a minute. Here you go. I really want you to answer that.
Yeah,
Like,
I got
why
you.
are you even thinking that I might not? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I got you. But mine
Go for
was success because it was always easier for me. I had to do less when I was a failure. There were less expectations of me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thought anything of me. Once I realized,
okay, so that's good. Expectations.
Yeah.
I want to write this
Okay,
down.
yeah, let's write it down.
I'm
Yeah,
about to
let's
go
take our time.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Expectations.
So the expectations that, like, yo, my mom never was like, my son gonna be a doctor or a lawyer. They was just like, man, we hope he just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, graduate from high school. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gotta go to college, just don't sell dope, whatever. Like, they never really had no, like, real deep expectations on me. So for me, when I finally was like when you're getting closer to graduation, they start asking you questions. Like, what you gonna do now that you graduated? Like, what profession, whatever. So for me, it was
So
like,
it was the unknown.
I wouldn't even say the unknown. For me, see, it was like, I'm gonna have to get up and do something. Whereas when I was homeless, accountability. Like, I'm gonna have to do something. Like, if people think I'm sweet, like, and watch this, y'all, this may sound weird. I used to hate when people used to do an introduction to me as a speaker. I love when they didn't know me. Because I could get up there and kill it, and you would say I killed it because you weren't really expecting nothing from me. But once you start saying, my man, the #1 motivational speaker in the world, now it's like your expectations and went all the way through the roof. And so it's like, yo, I got to get up there and deliver. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you've heard me 5 times. It's like, okay, I heard E already 5 times. What else he gonna say? And so there's a different level of expectation, which means what? For me, CJ, which means a different work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I got to study for real now. I got to really know how to say words. Like, it was cute to say, I don't really know words like that. All right, you got a PhD now. You can't play that game no more. Like, if you don't know it, go find out what it is and learn how to say it. So the expectations and accountability, and what I would have to do on a daily basis was different. When I was homeless, I didn't have to do nothing. When you become this Eric, you got to do something every day, bro. Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, Carl, I'm ready
so
for you.
I'm listening, and I think I'm scared of pain, see? Scared of pain.
Yep.
And I mean pain in whatever sense it is. Like, the average person, and I'll speak for me, like, I want to stay where it's comfortable because I know it. Like, I know it. Even though this hurt a little bit, it's just a pinch. I'm used to the pinch, and I can survive with that pinch. But to E's point, dude, to step out here, I'm about to face some real pain and some hurt. I got to go through some stuff to go to that next level that I'm not sure that I want to. I'm just being real. I'm not sure. So with all the potential, you've been smart your whole life and all that. Crap, but what if I'm not? Like, how do I, what? You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, yo, I just don't even want to deal with the pain. I don't want to deal with the letting anybody else down. Let me just do my little thing in the corner and you get used to me doing this and I'm good. Like, I ain't messed nobody expectation up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just cool. Like, you kind of see it, you get what you saw.
So, and the reason I'm asking this, and hopefully everybody who's listening, you could write down, the things that have caused you fear, right? Because if we can identify, the cause, we can identify the cure, right? So if you look at, expectations, pain, accountability, for me, one of the things that, was always fearful for me, maybe it's the D or whatever, but was things that are outside of my control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even now, I think I got parental paranoia. Like, my kids my wife would be like, oh, they just down the street. I'm like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm fearful that like
I can't control that.
Yeah, I can't control it, right? And I'm like, okay, I just whatever. So I may be overboard, right? But again, if you can identify those things that are causing you fear, right? So it's like, again, it's no wonder you feel these feelings when you're around things that make you feel like that, right? So if you're going to get on the other side of it, so therefore expectations, accountability, all of these things, that's why we create groups like this so that people can be around other people who may have had those fears, who may have had those same anxieties, but have overcome it and figured out how to do it. You have to put yourself in a new territory where you don't feel that feeling anymore. Like it's big for, you know, I'm sure Carl to be around Maul. Like, just look at the dynamics of their relationship. Like, they are homies, they're boys, whatever. But don't think that Maul's personality and his fearlessness hasn't rubbed off on Carl. He felt some of that. You know what I'm saying? It's why Carl is, you know, investing in real estate now and taking all these chances that he wouldn't have taken before. It doesn't make you a bad person that you have these fears in you, but you have to identify that they're there.
Say that again.
Yeah, it doesn't make you a bad person. I'm not saying that. Like, it does not make you a bad person, but understand that God didn't give us that spirit. So therefore, if God didn't give it to us, it's man-made.
And you got it.
You see what I'm saying? And if it's man-made, doggone it, you could tear it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not one of the 7 wonders of the world. Like, it's like a fake construct. And so if it's a fake construct, you can tear it down. But again, you have to identify what, like I said, why do you, I fear starting my own business. Why?
Yeah, well, I felt
you know what I'm saying? Because you might have saw somebody, your friend might have tried it and it didn't work for them, and they lost everything. So you now you got this image in your mind like, oh my goodness, if I do this, I could lose everything.
But, which is not the truth. Right. But, and you can lose everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying in order to counteract that, go find 5 people who have made millions of dollars starting their own companies.
This is crazy. So Jordan, you talk about exposure to Maul. So Jordan, I'll give y'all the backstory. Jordan has this little friend desk. I think I told y'all that. My man, his family, they're snowbird. So weirdly enough, Jordan come home like, yo, I got a friend, he in that school tomorrow. I'm like, well, this is kindergarten. I'm like, well, peace. It was nice knowing my man. You in kindergarten, you gonna forget about my man. He didn't. To the point where Jordan was bothering me and Tamisha so much. Like, I'm like, yo, just go up to the school, ask one of the teachers for his parents' number, we'll call him. You can talk to little man. Fast forward, they came back this spring. Tamisha and the mom connected, you know, the kids been talking, whatever, it's on their phones. They took them together. Long story short, I connected with the dad on my birthday. Tamisha, we took the kids over there. They're about to head back now to Florida. And I'm sitting down talking to him. You talk about, so Mustafa said a quote to me last week. He said, what's happening inside of you, it reflects outside. Like your environment, the people you meet, watch what I'm saying. Long story short, this dude and his family are investing in a $500 million project of putting water somewhere in Africa. This dude is living on 20% of his income, donating 80%. This dude has created a basement in his house for missionaries. He's like, I've been around churches and stuff, and I realize missionaries go all out to the world, and they don't really have no place. They ain't got no resources. They dedicated their life. So he's like, I created the bottom of my house for that. Long story short, this dude was on some wealth that I ain't never seen. And I'm saying to myself, like, whoa, is this a coincidence? Again, it started with Jordan.
Meanwhile, my mom having trouble, financial hardships with a plane ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that crazy?
But a Coach Delta flight about to take us out.
Listening to their conversation, see, I'm like, whoa, this can't be coincidence. It's a direction that we're going. That now we're starting to connect with people that have the same values and stuff. So to your point, now that we're shifting our mindset, the world is shifting to who we connect into.
To who we are.
What I'm saying? To who we are. Flat out, we are free. We believe that we're free, and now freedom is all of a sudden coming to us. The resources are just coming to us. My son, like out of nowhere, I'm talking about kindergarten. Like which kindergarten kid like you?
You were supposed to flex on him and be like, yeah, we spend a lot of time in Barbados at our vacation house too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you feel me?
Y'all in Florida, huh? Must be nice.
That's the D.
I know, right? But I'm just saying, like, it's we're free.
Yeah, and we need to unpack it. So for me, here's the latest one, that I was afraid of. I was talking to Words, who was doing the funnel, and you know, I was like, Words, let me just be real with you. Let me slow you down because I see where you're trying to go, and I've been introduced to that before, but you can't do that because I'm not ready to do that. You feel me? So when he started breaking down the numbers and all that, I was like, Words, I need to be real with you. Like, because I am the energy source of this vision, you can't do that without me, and I'm not trying to do that. And I just need to be real with you that I'm not trying to do that. So let me sit down and talk to God and myself, and I'm gonna come back. And what I realized, Carl, was the reason why I never really done a funnel like that, and the reason I kept everything small is because I never, as in high I want to use the right term. I don't do well with pessimism. I don't do well with negativity. I don't do well with fear. I just don't do well with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not my, you know what I'm saying? I don't do well with slow pace. It's not like I'm trying to be mean. It's just like, that's just not my thing. You feel me? And so I told Words, I was like, yo, I'm gonna be real with you, bruh. I'm not trying to deal with people who buy product, because Words that came to me, Carl, with a, you know how it's like, you can do this level and multiply. And I was like, yo, Words, I've been there, done that. Like, I know a lot of people who look at us, there are things we haven't done. They think we haven't done it because we're ignorant. No, we haven't done it because we've looked at it and been like, yo, that ain't gonna work for us. You know, we ain't been number one for 6 weeks. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. But I had to ask myself, because I was like, yo, it's not fair to be in a relationship with a person who has a certain expectation, and their expectation ain't gonna happen without your consent. So, like, don't play with him. Like, you gotta be real. And so I told Words, I said, Words, I'm gonna be real with you. If we do what you say we doing, the people that pay the less have the most complaints. And I don't have time to screw up my character over somebody paid $15, $20. Like, bro, it ain't worth it. And I said, quiet as kept, Words, I want to say this to you. I don't need the money. I make good money as a speaker. My wife is like, yo, Diddy be like, yo, I ain't trying to be funny. Diddy's a 99D. Diddy be like, yo, I don't even understand why, like, you getting breaded. Like, you make good money like and you don't got to do nothing. Like, you got tips, make a phone call, you go speak, you can make millions of dollars speaking. Why do you even do this stuff for free that causes you more hell than the stuff you do for, when you speak, you go somewhere and you go home. Like, why are you doing this? She was like, why are you a pastor? Like, we got more problems from the church. Like, why would you do this to us? Like, this don't even make sense. Like, I don't see what we getting from it. You feel what I'm saying? I love my wife, but Diddy got it.
Bucket ready.
I don't need one with Diddy.
Coming on.
Diddy's eye, Carl, is 10.
Oh, yeah,
you feel me? So she ain't no bad person, but Diddy like, yo, I just don't know why you doing it. And so I said to Words, like, yo, bro, I just don't feel like being bothered. And then God said, why don't you feel like being bothered? And I was like, yo, I just don't want my name. And he was like, son, there's no way you could make $1 billion and not have your name get messed up. It's not possible. You can't make $1 billion and not have 1 or 2 people that's gonna complain. It's just not gonna happen.
See what you said yesterday. You cannot please everybody.
You can't.
Oh, no.
It's not possible. But here's the deal.
I can't do it on this podcast.
Yeah, right. He got this shit button. But Carl, I had to make up in my mind freedom or death. I had to make up in my mind which one you want. And to C's point, y'all know me. I don't enjoy wealth. I don't enjoy wealth. That's not something that I don't live like my means, but I enjoy freeing people. And so it was like, yo, you're gonna have to let your name go in.
Come on, Harriet.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let your name go.
Come on, Harriet.
I'm just saying, you're gonna have to let your
Harriet
name go.
Thomas.
And for me, Carl, for a long time, if there's one thing I've held on to, I have held on to my name. Like, when people say ET, they don't necessarily go money, this, that, they go integrity. And God said to me this, you don't have to lose your integrity to lose your name. They don't go together. The person that's dogging you out ain't got no integrity. So you got to understand, you tripping on your name, they ain't got no integrity. That's why they try to run your name in the ground.
And your name only in their 2% circle anyway.
It don't. And so to C's point, the fear, I had to realize I'm holding up some of the progress because he has been on the money. But at the same time, I'm still the visionary. So if I give 50% energy to what he's saying, he only gonna fit 50%. So I'm the one that's been holding back because I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to mess up our name. And God said, you got a tribe. You don't need a name. You got who rocking with you. And no matter what happened, they rocking with you because they rocking with you, not because, so let it go. So I was like, boom, the fear of the name, I said, I let it go. And God said, now watch what happens now that you let it go. You're going to go to a whole other level because you're not concerned about, and I'm going to be real with you, I don't even know why I was tripping. Maybe I took the text wrong, that a man's name is better than riches. But God said, your character name, not the name that they calling you out there, if that makes sense to you. So I just want to keep it 100, see?
Last point. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but it was, I think, the last point that I noticed that, you mentioned it, but when she was, when they were at the Underground Railroad meeting. And she, and she got on their head and she was like, oh, okay, like y'all don't, the way she spoke about it was like she was right back there. Like she knew exactly what it felt like. She knew the pain, she knew the hurt, and she was able to recall. You could tell like that's what was fueling them trips was the feeling of like, oh, okay, I know this ain't right.
Getting raped, beat.
Right. And so we talked about that. And it's funny because I always tease E about, he'll bring up him and Didi eating beans and rice, like it was yesterday, right? And so the crazy thing about it is, and even when, if you guys listened to the podcast with Inky last week, Inky talked about like, yo, I still remember, like Inky, they were sleeping, 15, 16 people in a 2-bedroom. And when you hear Inky talk about it, it's almost like it happened yesterday. And he's able to keep that. And so E, I think you're like the thing that pushes you, because again, you said it's not the material things, right? Like that would, if you like love, maybe you had a love of Bentleys and Ferraris and something that could like whatever, that just never has been it. But talk about how important it is for you to keep that top of mind, that it hasn't always been like this and it's not like this for everybody. Does that make sense? Because like I said, he always, like anytime, if you ever heard E do a full keynote, he has never gone one keynote without saying, homeless, abandoned buildings, high school dropout, 7. The message is going to be totally different. But he will set the stage with, me and my wife walk 800 miles to school one way. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to know that the struggle...
Didi only walked 400. I literally walked.
He wants you to know that the struggle was prevalent, right? And so why is that so important for you to make sure that not only you keep it on the top of our mind as we listen to your message come forth, but to keep it on the top of your mind as well?
Well, Carl said it earlier. So in the movie, he told her, fear is your enemy. But to go along with that, comfort is your greatest enemy. Comfort is your greatest enemy. Your last success is your greatest enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you did last to blow up, that's your greatest enemy. That's what's gonna hold you back. You feel what I'm saying? And listen to me, guys. It is no coincidence that Tom Brady still wears his Michigan shoulder pads because he was drafted last in the NFL. Like he barely didn't make it. And so he wears that, he keeps that same shoulder. My man won 6 titles. He won 6 Super Bowls. He got that same crazy outfit he had on when he came out of college because he almost didn't get drafted. And we put that on every time. It reminds him that nobody wanted him. And so that's what fuels him. And what we don't get is, you call it trophy watching, but we do it as grown people, see? We do it as grown folk. We take a trip and I'm taking trips. We in Ritz-Carlton, I'm in Ritz-Carlton. And Didi will purposely go, we're not staying in that, or we're not staying in that suite, we're gonna stay here. And the last time we flew, we went to Savannah, Didi was like, we're not flying to Atlanta, we're gonna drive to Atlanta. It was a 4-hour trip. She was like, yo, you cannot forget when you was driving. That's who got us here, the driving ET. The Ritz-Carlton Eric didn't get us here. The millionaire Eric didn't get us here.
Well, I was driving, but you was in the car. I feel you. The riding ET.
Right. Well, it was his hot D that wouldn't let nobody else drive.
It was the fact you almost killed us 5 times that wouldn't let me.
But almost,
trying to read while he driving.
I got to keep telling him though, Carl. Almost is not good enough. He's still alive, right? So a lot of people, and please hear what I'm saying, a lot of people have been taught, how do I say it? Like internally that this is a destination. So everybody's thinking, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get to chill. I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna get a degree, then I'm gonna get to chill. I'm gonna get married. I can't tell you how many people I meet who like, I can't wait till I get a man. You think getting married about this, I'm not sure what you think about to happen when you get married, but that's not about to, like, you're not there. Like, you, matter of fact, just got started. Whatever you're doing, once you say I do, like, you just get started. You have kids, you're so grateful for these kids. Oh, I promise you, when you have kids, you just get started. I'm talking about your life is a whole different life. And so we've been taught this destination, and so we have a destination mindset, so we end up losing because we never get to where we thought we should get to, and we think we're a failure. Because we're trying to get somewhere that's not nowhere.
It don't exist.
But so now your expectations to get somewhere. But when you have a journeyman's mentality that, no, I'm not trying to get to Pennsylvania. Why? Because one day Pennsylvania gonna change. One day Pennsylvania ain't gonna be Pennsylvania. The new Pennsylvania is Canada. Oh, you're not hearing what I'm saying? So in your mind, if Pennsylvania was the journey, that's why when they went 100, that's why everybody was tripping, because they had set in their mind that it's 100 miles. Like everything they did, Carl, was for 100 miles. So then once the law came out, Then again, when we had to go to Canada, another country, now all of a sudden it's 600 miles. So now your little plan is not suffice for the 600. Whereas for Harriet was good. Why? Because she had no destination. Her life was a journey. So she could always make the adjustment because she never had any expectation. She just like, yo, I'm just ready to go. So whatever I got to do, I don't need resources or I got resources. I don't need help or I got help. Oh, y'all not hear what I'm saying. I can do it with a horse. I can walk. I can use a gun, not use a gun. It doesn't matter. So for those of us who trophy watch, we get to a point where it's like, I'm talking about you killing the game. All right, I'm gonna need the bucket, see? Let's get the bucket. I'm gonna need the bucket. I'm gonna need the bucket, right? I'm gonna keep this one personal. So you think in your mind that God has given you all this brilliance, Carl, and you got all this brilliance and you go through law school and you kill the game and then you come out and you don't get a piece of paper that man say you should have. You come out, you don't get the whatever, I don't know, whatever the bar exam, you don't get that. You don't, it's a certificate. At the end of the way, I'm not trying to be funny. At the end of the day, it's a certificate.
Piece of paper.
So you don't get the piece of paper that man says you need to be. God been told you who you were. God has been told you how phenomenal you were. God been said you great, but man got to give you a piece of paper to confirm what God already been told you that you're supposed to do. God told you that you're phenomenal, that you're royal, that you did. But man got to give you a piece of paper that you hang on the wall and look at and go, oh, I'm somebody now. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Watch this, watch this. Then I told that person, I ain't even trying to be funny, but you can go look up everybody. My boy passed the bar exam, and my man eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. My man got his own firm. Homegirl got her own firm. They can't hardly eat. You're not just eating, you eating good. You're with the #1 program in the world. But when you get caught up on man and you get caught up on the destination, you are exactly where God wants you to be, and you don't think you nowhere. The devil got you thinking you by yourself. She told her, she said, a woman who got God don't need a man. She said a woman that got God don't need a man. But you got women who got God and don't got a man and don't think they nobody because society says you can't be a complete woman without a man. That's what society says. So the reason why I don't hang my degrees up is because I was already phenomenal before I got one. God told me I was. And I know I was because he blessed me to be something from birth. So either I'm a D, a I, S, or a C, whatever I am. If I'm an I, 70% of the world is not what I am. So that makes me special. But it also humbles me because I need 70% of the world to complete what I'm trying to do. So for me, it's like, yo, when you just gonna grow up and get to the point where you realize that you are, life is a journey. You're not trying to get nowhere, but everybody's trying to get here and trying to get there. So when they see my house here, somebody might go, Eric, you didn't get there. I got there. I got some phenomenal, I'm telling you, when I go to Cali, I'm gonna be so hurt. I'm gonna miss my neighbors. I got some phenomenal, and then my neighbor's so sweet. Mike and Eric are so sweet that they end up attracting Carl, Eamon, and
right
that family,
across the street.
and then you end up attracting the family that's right next to the family, and so they come over speaking. Bro, I'm gonna hate to leave. A lot of people talk about the Midwest. Let me tell you something. We may be middle class, working people. When you talk about
we may
people,
have financial hardships.
Yeah, we might have financial hardships, but and I'm not gonna be disrespectful because I got to move to Cali. But I will say this, Carl. I've been in conversations with people who were born and raised sometimes in Cali, and it could be very superficial. They could be very pretentious. I'm not used to that being in Michigan. I'm not gonna see his father and he go, what you doing for a living? How many degrees you got? In Michigan, bro, we just not own that.
Too cold.
Look, I went today to get breakfast for us, and I had got the griddles, and the lady came up to me just from Walmart. I was holding a full conversation. I lied because I didn't want to break her heart, but she was like, oh, so I see all those groceries you guys like, yeah. She's like, you going tailgating just like we do in Michigan, ain't you? And I was like, yeah, well, sort of kind of tailgate, but not necessarily football tailgate, but tailgate. And so, look, y'all, for those of you who are listening to me, you don't need nothing else to compliment you. You are phenomenal. You are special. You are unique. You are royal. You don't need a man. You don't need no more money. Now, if you get certain things, can they compliment you? But they don't make you. And you gotta realize that you are marvelous and wonderfully created by yourself, just as you are. You don't need to add nothing to it. If you don't never get another piece of jewelry, you phenomenal, you beautiful, you got it going on. And when you acknowledge that, you're gonna start attracting other stuff that's just as beautiful as you are. But with that fear, you're gonna attract fear. With that doubt, you're gonna attract doubt. So I just wanna encourage you to hug yourself, love on yourself, and to C's point, we all have things that we're struggling with. Nobody is perfect yet. We all have things that trip us up. But the key is to recognize who you are and get on this life's journey. Again, it's not a destination, y'all. It's a journey, and we should be getting better Carl, if it's one thing we should be doing,
growing.
That's what we should be doing every day is growing and getting better. Absolutely.
What else should we be doing every day?
Hey, Organifi.
Hey, there we go.
Organifi. My squad already know, they already own it, man. The superfood green juice powder, Organifi. Listen, man, if you out there, you trying to get healthy, huh?
Should we bring somebody in?
Yeah, bring somebody in. Come on. If you're trying to get healthy, man, one surefire way to do it is taking those greens every day, all right? Organifi, ORGANIFI, promo code SUCCESS, all right? Organifi.com. Make sure you go check us out. Make sure you use the promo code and keep using the promo code as you reorder, all right? We got to pay for these financial hardships, and we try, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get to that next level. Yeah. Also, what else we got? Can we release the 2020 day? Oh, no, not yet.
That's on Tiff.
Not yet. No, Tiff.
I see the head.
No.
I see Nikki shaking her head. No.
Oh, so, wow.
Hey, we have 2020 dates.
Yes, we do have 2020 dates. Make sure you're ready. We are coming to Canada. Shout out to Harriet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come around. Come around. Come get that nugget. Come on.
Oh, yeah, come on.
I'm going to let him get that nugget.
Yeah, come on, man. What we doing here? Also, let's see. Is there any other announcements? Well, Phenomenal Life, Mexico. How many of y'all going to Mexico with us? Yes. All right. Everybody else, y'all raise your hands. Sign up afterwards. So Phenomenal Life Mexico. We will be off in Mexico with the squad. I'm bringing my family, and we look forward to having a great time there, man. It's going to be so much going on. Anybody who's come to the last ones with us knows that we always have a great time there.
Yes. And we get to relax and chill. So for those of you who come and want to talk to us when we're like in the city for a day, it's not possible. But we're there for multiple days.
This one is a destination.
This is a destination.
This one is a destination.
This is definitely a destination.
Which will turn into a journey.
It's called, I think it's called Hotel Xcaret or something like that. So make sure you look it up. I saw it when I went down there, but I didn't get a chance to go. But I heard it's phenomenal, and the videos look phenomenal. So if you're online, just go check it out, man. And we look forward to you meeting us there. Carl, any other announcements that you have, sir?
I'm still on Harriet, man. I ain't got nothing.
We're going to need some royalty from the Harriet boy.
Yeah.
From the movie? And they just break us off a couple dollars.
I ain't got nothing.
Shout out to the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I mean, again, I hope that wasn't a spoiler because I'm pretty sure everybody knew exactly what was happening, but hopefully you enjoyed our deep dive. Let's get it. You got the nugget of the day ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Nugget.
All right, this your opportunity now.
We might
tell them who you are, though.
Listen, first of all, my name is John, Mr. Mac McLeod. I'm from Philadelphia, the Philly squad. We proud to be. Okay, so we proud to be here. We happy to be here. But my golden nugget of the day is faith over fear. Where I come from in my church, faith, the definition is called your corresponding suitable appropriate action for what you believe in God for, which is action is faith. People be like, well, I believe. No, that's belief. Action is faith. So the golden nugget of the day is your corresponding suitable appropriate action. Right above my bed, I got a plaque that says, let your faith be bigger than your fear. So at the end of the day, if you got faith, I know you can actually move. God still can move for you if you still move with faith and with fear in your heart. But you moving, you making strides. The biggest thing, when I was at the house, I was just thinking one word just kept coming to me: move. Just move. Like, why are you going to stay there knowing that it ain't good, knowing that it ain't going to work out right there? Finally, it's time to make a movement. So faith is your corresponding suitable appropriate action. It's action. It's not just what you believe in your heart and in your mind, but what are you doing? If you believing for a job, did you go out and did you get a suit? Did you get some shoes? Did you get your resume together? When the job come, are you ready for the interview? Or when the job come, then you want to call everybody and be like, hey, I need a suit, or I need some. No, you needed that suit. You knew you was believing for that job already. Or if you believe in to leave your job, like, let's talk entrepreneurship. If you believe in to leave your job, all right, it's hype when you at the events like go ahead and jump. But did you plan? Did you get yourself together ready to go ahead and make that transition from job to entrepreneurship so that you can make sure that the transition is seamless as possible. Everybody route not the same. At the same time, come on. Did you do the action steps? Because if you ain't do the action steps, you really didn't have faith. You just moving off emotion. And when you move off emotion, you can get killed. You can die moving off emotion.
That's what the simple way is move something, y'all. Come on today. We got see hit that
starts to twerk in
hit
here,
that
y'all.
move something, y'all. You heard what he said? Move something.
Get out the way.
Move.
Get out the way. Appreciate that nugget of the day. Hopefully
our first. This is our first. I'm sure we had.
We a guest nugget, man. Appreciate y'all. Also, studio audience, give yourselves a hand. Great job.
Hey, on three, let me hear that BU strong, y'all. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. Show some love.
Man. Hey, we may have to fly y'all back every week because he was way better with y'all here. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to impress y'all. So anyway, man, appreciate y'all listening, man. Go to iTunes, leave us that review. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul.